What's up everyone, WizardKen here with another Xbox 360 World of Tanks video. Today we're going to be continuing with the Hellcat as we try to unlock with the T25-2. Now, first thing before we start off on this, some of you guys were like, hey, aren't you supposed to be, doing this tank without using free experience points? No. Technically I haven't started the T110E4 line yet. Because I'm actually going to start doing those videos on the T25-2. I was given the option either to start with a tier 6 or tier 7, and that's what I'm going to do when I start doing the no experience points. So once I get to the T25-2, that's when I have to stop using free experience points. Right now I can use all the free experience points I want to be able to unlock that tank. So don't worry guys, I'm not cheating. I'm still following by the rules. I just haven't started that series yet. But today we're actually going to be taking this tank out again just to be get used to it some more and show it off a little bit more. But really the main part of this whole video today is a great comment came up today, and it was somebody that made remarks that the Hellcat was the best tier 6, and then somebody else said the KV-1S is the best tier 6, and they were giving, the one person gave a really good little statement about why the KV-1S was better and stuff like that. Now, I don't know if they mean like it's the best one ever in every single country, like nobody else can defeat it, or if they just meant like their opinion, that's their best one because it best suits them. But I thought it would be a great topic to talk about why we play this tank, because this comes into the factor when you guys ask me like what's better, the T110E5 or the IS-7, stuff like that. So really, I would like to break down how I made the T110E5 video versus the IS-7 video, and what I had to look at to really distinguish what would be the better take, or if they're tied, or if one of them just completely bombed it, kind of thing. So let's start in our battles and then we'll start talking about this. Alright guys, we're on Cliff Encounter, and it's all tier 6 pretty much on this one. Now, starting with our comment and stuff like that, really, you need to sit there and look at the facts. What could be considered the best tank? Well, the best tank could basically do the most damage, reload quicker, have the best view range. Pretty much be like the premium of premium tanks. Well, unfortunately, World of Tanks does not have a tank like that. They specifically make their game so that people aren't overpowered with one tank or another. Now, they do have problems when they bring out a new tank or something like that. There is a period where they might have to tweak the tank. There are also periods where, for us, we're getting tanks that are already that have already been out on the PC, and we're facing new competitions, like when we were facing the Waffle E100s. A lot of people were scared about them because they were doing so much damage a minute. It wasn't even funny. But then when we realized, hey, they only have 6 rounds or 4 rounds, depending on what gun they have, they have to reload for a minute, pretty much, anywhere in a minute. And so that kind of started helping people out. They count how many shots they thought happened with the Waffle, and then they'd start going after it. So you have those types of things too, where you have new tanks that are just unbalanced because of wargaming and they need to be readjusted, which is understandable. And then you have tanks that are like the Waffle E100 that have been out for a while, and people just have to get used to going against them. Now, this brings us to the next part. Since there is no real dominant tank in the whole game that you could just buy, like there's no like mammoth tank from Command & Conquer that we could buy that shoots out missile tanks and so on and so on. We had to look at a lot of variables on these tanks. Now, like, for instance, the KV-1S. The great thing that came up about that was that, this thing does a lot of damage. A lot of just, normal damage, which is like usually about 400. It could usually one-shot a tier 4 or 5 pretty easily. And it could definitely put a devastating hit on most tier 6. I mean, if you fight a KV-1S against a KV-1S, you could take one of those out in 2 hits with just with the KV-1S. So, I mean, it's a dominating tank. But what are the factors with that tank that also make it very vulnerable? Well, the view range isn't as far. It does have defensive armor, but it's not very slanted and stuff like that. unlike the IS-3 where it gets a little bit better slanted armor and so on and so forth. So, it's got decent speed on it, but all in all, it's really a great brawler for the cities. Reason why is because that derpy 122 that's on it is not the greatest in the sense of sniping. Now, I have sniped with it, but I have a very high-end crew that really could kick ass with that tank. But the thing is still I would miss a lot of shots too that I would try sniping with. And I would try to snipe at tanks that were sideways, not ones that were facing me and this and that, because it's a lot less of a body, just in case your round does go left or right, you know. So that's a problem. The next problem is that with the KV-1S, you know, you still have to worry about operator error. You know, me coming around this corner too quickly, there could have been a tank right here and blew my ass up. We have to worry about Artie. We have to worry about, is the other team even here? Are they camping all back at their base? Who knows? I mean, there's different things that could happen that we have to look at when we're playing with a tank. I can't believe I just missed. As I'm talking about, even a sniper tank like the Hellcat can miss. And I'm just, oh, this is terrible. Let's see if I take this guy out. Yeah, there we go. So, there are some things you have to worry about on that. Now, what's the other thing you have to worry about? Well, the thing likes to catch on fire pretty decently. Now, it is a diesel tank, so it's not terrible on catching on fire, but it does catch on fire. And I think it catches on fire pretty easily, even though the stats on it say it's only like a 15% chance of catching on fire. You know, the gas tanks are kind of exposed pretty much in the back end, and anywhere you shoot in the back end, you pretty much catch on fire. It is an arty love because it is a bigger tank and stuff like that. It doesn't have the most amazing camo. Now, the Hellcat, on the other hand, wow, this match is just going quick. I'm sorry. Now, let's talk about the Hellcat after these messages. Alrighty, guys. Here we are, Mountain Pass Standard Battle, and let's continue what we were talking about. The Hellcat is next. Oh shit, we got some tier 8s on this one. So, now we covered the KV-1S and its pros and cons. The Hellcat is next. Now, I'm just using these two tanks because they were the topic of the discussion. Okay, that was it. And the people that brought these out, like I said, it didn't irk me or anything like that, but it's good to have an understanding whether it's your opinion of a tank being better or if it's actual factual that a tank is better than another. So, now, the Hellcat. I mean, it's got a decent gun on it. It does, you know, decent damage. It's got amazing camo on, like, stationary. I think it's like 25 increase in camo, plus if you have a camo net on, and also your crew has the experience on, it increases even more. There's a 16 camo percentage if you're on the move, so you still got a decent amount of camo on there. And then also when you're firing, I think it drops down to like 10 or something like that. So this is pretty much an invisible tank. It's got a nice view range of 370, and yeah, and it's open top, so it's going to outspot pretty much most of the tanks at a tier 6 level. Except for the T-21. I believe T-21 has the same spawning range, but I cannot remember. Anyways, that all being gratefully said and stuff like that. Now, the cons of this tank. Now, even though it's a sniper, it's not going to be very accurate too. It's still a tank. And plus my crew just sucks at the moment. Anyways, it's got very, very light armor, as we talked about before. The turret is very light. The armor on it is very light. It's not very slanted. It's more slanted than the KV-1S, but not enough to really give two cents of a lick about. So, that being stated, yeah, I knew that was just going to bounce because that's just how this tank is. And that's how the armor on the Tiger can be. Ooh, that is a great open spot for me. Oh, ooh, ooh. This thing does catch on fire. You can shoot it in the front because I believe the gas tank's in the front and the engine is in the rear. So pretty much in the front or the back, you can catch this thing on fire. It's got very big ammo spots on the sides of it, on the very front and left, or no, in the middle of it. On both sides, you can shoot it, and the ammo will pretty much ammo rack on this thing. So it's got a lot of cons too to the pros. I mean, this thing has a fast maneuverability, 72 kilometers an hour, which is pretty badass. Now that we talked about the pros and cons, which one's the better? Well, if you look up the tanks actually and you run the computer analyst on it, to be honest with you, they're pretty much equally tied. They come out, I think the win rate for the Hellcat was like, we'll just say 99% or 100%, and the KV-1S was 99%. So it was like a close match kind of thing. It was really interesting to look up and see which one was going to be better. Are these guys really going to push? I think they are. Yeah, there's not enough guys, so we're going to move. But with that 1% tile, that means what makes up, well, which one still is the better tank? The Hellcat can't be the better tank. No way. No way. Well, this is what I told the people in the comments. Okay, you're looking at the tanks as their stats, but you're not looking at the tanks as with other variables being produced. Okay? Human error. Me coming through here, jumping off this little ledge here, or jumping off the bridge, I could damage myself. So a KV-1S could come around and one-shot me. So my the variable there was human error of me fucking up. The other thing is roll of dice. I could, like you guys saw, my one round shot over the KV-2, so it didn't allow me to really get that that shot or that damage that I wanted to do. Now, the next thing is too, it's still pretty much human error on this, or even the map. Okay, so let's take for instance the map on here. What could screw us over in a KV-1S? An open map, a very open map. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. You've got Redshire, a very huge open map. I've played a lot of time with this tank on that map since I've gotten it. And I have devastated a lot of tanks, KV-1Ss alike. Why? Because of that view range and my mobility. Now, I believe the KV-1S has a 340 view range. We have 370. So what's to say for him? Because he does have a good amount of speed to come and get me. He can. But that's the thing. I am just as fast. So I'm going to know where he's running to and where he's not running to. And I can readjust myself. I have better camo too. Even if he gets that close, I have to fuck up. Alright guys, Live Oak Standard Battle, and let's continue where we left off. So, as I was saying, you know, in a long, like this map in particular, very open area, this is very, this is a very good map for tank destroyers. There's a lot of spots that we could sit that can allow us to use our view range to our ability, you know, to max out everything. So, this could be a very nasty tank. But, on the other hand, the KV-1S, like we talked about, is a very close quarters kind of tank. I mean, and it could take some hits. So what's the best spot for it? Pretty much a city map. Or some kind of map like on this side where he can get kind of closer. He can shorten that distance between him and a tank destroyer that can see a lot further than him. So, that being said, which one's the better tank? Because if I drive this thing into a city versus a KV-1S, I'm going to get my ass handed to me. Why? I do not have the armor nor the, you know, fire resistance like he does. With that 122, he could knock the crap out of me and kill me in 1 or 2 shots pretty easily. He could get a high crit roll and kill me instantly. I've done it before. But let's change up the scenario, and then we go back to a map like this that's very open. He's not going to know where I am. And if this game didn't have tracers, it would be even twice as hard for him to find me. It's a very, very hard thing to sit there and say which one's the better tank. And so what's the answer to this? What is the best tank? What is the best tank in the tier? We'll just say that. Now there are some tanks, you know, like the T21. It can be a nasty tank. It can. But majority of the time, it can be shot out pretty quickly. So tanks like that, of course, we know that we're not going to consider them top dogs. But they're nasty in their own way. They're spawning for their teammates. They're able to get in and out very quickly. They have massive camo. You know, light tanks do not lose their camo until they shoot. Did you know that? Or they're spotted, like we get close enough so that we're spotted. That's it. That's the only time we lose our camo. So, it could be very, very nasty. A nasty tank. So anyways, really, what does it come down to? What is the best tank for each tier? And I will tell you this. The best tank that there is the player. The player. That's really all it is. You can give the worst player in the world the best tank, okay? We'll just say the best tank right now. We'll just say the FV because it can one-shot a lot of people. It doesn't take a lot of practice. It just requires you to sit there, let it aim in, and fire. You know, we'll just say that because it's a one-shotter. Or even like a T92 Artie or something like that, that he doesn't have to go anywhere. He just, you know, pretty much looks down the map and shoots at people. Same thing. You could give him all the best tanks or all the tier 10s, and I can tell you this. He is not, and I will say this again, he will not be the best tank out there. I don't care. Reason why is because he doesn't have the experiences with the tanks. He doesn't have certain things with these tanks. You know, he doesn't know how they operate the best, which way to angle them, which way to do this and that, and underneath the sun. And so it kind of screws that player over. So he will always continue to die. Now, he might kill some people here and there, but in the end, he's not going to kill that many people. He's going to get his ass handed to him. Because he's playing against very experienced players that are going to make sure that he suffers before he could get them. They know how dangerous every one of those tanks are, and they know how to play them. So if that guy's like, oh man, I'm going to quick shot this guy in the FV, and he misses, the experienced players are going to say, shit, I know I could get this guy. You want to know why? Because it takes him 30 seconds to reload. He just shot. I know I could get over there very, very quickly. I need to take out this VK. Because this stupid tank's going to be coming up here in a second. Shit. M7. Motherfucker. Oh, shit. Alright, who's this? 88. Now, you give... say, for instance, when I did my videos for the new users, the tier 1s, okay? I just picked a regular old tier 1 and I jumped in it and stuff like that and started playing with it. And what did I do? I kicked ass. I was organized. I knew how the tanks could be handled. I knew how the autoloaders on those things worked. I mean, I kicked ass. So, really, it comes down to the better player. That's it. And the circumstances of the map. Like, of course, like here, you know, this guy could be the best player in the world, this Panzer 3-4. But because I have the spotting range on him, if he comes out, he has nowhere to go. I'm going to pop him. You know? There's a lot of things just like that that could fuck him over. Now, we need to get out of here because this fucking dog just fucked me over. God damn it. Son of a bitch. Yes, we're looking at the T57 here, guys, because the Hellcat's still inbound and I didn't feel like waiting for it to come out just to do my ending statement. Guys, here it is. In the end, it's really down to how well you know your tank. We talked about this over and over again. That's why I tell you guys, you know what? I skip through a lot of tanks because I use a lot of free experience points. And it actually hurts me because just because I know how to play heavy tanks and we'll say tank destroyers, it took me a little bit with these with the medium tanks to get up to the T57 because I haven't used them very much anymore. I've lost my skill with them. Okay, I was very good with the Jumbo Sherman. You know, I was very good with a lot of tanks. But if you don't use them, you're going to lose it. You're going to lose your ability to work and use these tanks. So, bottom line, like I'm saying, is, guys, don't sit there and just look at a tank and think that it won't kick your ass like a Nashron. I know I laugh at them and stuff like that, but I can tell you this. If they hit you, they're going to hurt you. It all comes down to experience. Because a Nashron can even take out a KV-1S. And if the Nashron can get the distance like they do, and they can get the spotting in there like they do, and they can get that, what is it, the tier 8 gun on you, which is, what, twice the size of your own gun, it's going to hurt and it's going to kill. So, in the end, like I said, there is no top dog tank. There are some that might be better than others in certain situations, but it really comes down to the player and the situation that you have in front of you. I'm WizardKen, guys. Until next time, see ya.